I pray to the divinity in you. I'll give you 10 minutes for questions. Yes. Yes.
Swami, you said yesterday that samadhi was a state of mind and turiya was a state of consciousness. Is samadhi a prerequisite for the attainment of turiya?
It is on the way, on the path, it comes. Turiya is universal consciousness, while samadhi is the individual height of individual consciousness. Yes.
Shortest cut to enlightenment is to get rid of the ego. Could you please tell us how to do that?
Even if I tell you, you will not follow it. But I will. Yes. No questions? Yes.
Swami, you talked about the importance of peace yesterday. Is it important for us as individuals to be involved in peace on a national and international level?
If you have capacity and if you are able to do that, you should. We should contribute all that we can according to our capacity. But first of all, we should learn to be in peace with us, with ourselves, before we talk of peace in the external world. Our own thought pollution has disturbed the world. So individual should take care of his individuality before he talks of cosmic problems. Self-surrender means surrendering the ego, leads to a height of self-realization, and self-surrender is considered to be highest of all yogas, where you learn to surrender yourself in front of the mighty consciousness. I am thine, and watching your ego. If ego is properly purified and tamed, well polished, such a ego helps. But it's ego that creates boundary around yourself and giving you status of individuality. When you learn to understand that ego is contracting your personality, is hindering in the expansion of your personality, then you learn to surrender that ego. For learning to surrender your ego, you have to be constantly vigilant. And it can be done. Yes. Yes.
Artificial leave when they anesthetize the person. Is it also a deep sleep, or because there is no conscious at the time?
No. That's not deep sleep. It is related to brain and nervous system. It is not related to the mind. And it's just like, that you want to force somebody to be still. You tie him on the trunk of the tree and say, be still. You see. He will be physically still, will not move, but he will not have that comfort which stillness is supposed to give you. Anesthesia is used for removing the pain. You see, it disconnects you from your sensory nerves and paralyzes your autonomic nervous system for some time so that you don't feel pain. Pain is still there, yet you don't feel. No. To be unconscious is not the aim of yoga science. To remain fully conscious and aware of the reality is aim of the yoga science. Yes.
Swami, yesterday you spoke of having a plan for one's life in the spiritual as well as the external. How should one go about constructing such a plan?
We are going to explain that. That's what the subject matter is. Today we will discuss Vaishvanara, the gross world, the world outside us, external world, how to deal with the external world, and if properly not dealt, how does it affect our inner situation, inner condition, and how do we strengthen attachment to the things of the world which are fleeting fast, which are moving, which are subject to change, death and decay. What should be our attitude towards the world, external world? We have to live in this world, the world of ours. Let us analyze that, how to live in the external world. We need two things. First, we need to have a concept. Unless we build a concept on solid footing, we cannot be successful. So all our concepts should be filtered well, and we have to have a personal philosophy which does not create barriers for us in our path, in the search, in the enlightenment. We have to understand that concept should be built first. What should be the concept? Without concept, even if you do good deeds, that will be not much helpful to us, not of much use to us. You see, our human beings' morality is being preserved by the gun today. Remove army and police force, and next day you will find, 50% of human beings are killed. There will be a lot of difference, you see. So gun is trying to control the human destiny. It means we are still primitive. It means we are not aware of the human beings around us. We don't have love for others. We don't have love for ourselves. We are selfish beings, and we are called talking animals. Therefore, we have to understand individually, we all have to have that responsibility of creating good atmosphere by understanding our own self. And in the external world, karma seems to be inevitable law. There is no dispute anywhere. Science and religion hardly meet. Philosophy, religion and science, they never meet. But here, on the basis of this law called universal law, law of karma, science, religion and philosophy, all three meet and say with one voice, as you reap, as you sow, so shall you reap. It's a law. Every action has its reaction. Science says that. When you try to understand cause, then you will come to know that it's not something mysterious. You can shape your whole life. You can guide your whole life towards your goal. It depends whether you have built your philosophy or not. You all are thinkers, but you have not built your philosophy. A philosophy of individual life is like a pada that is explained in this Mandukya Upanishad. You see, we'll discuss that. First of all, let us understand, if we are trying to understand the external world by Swanara, we have to learn to understand how a human being functions in the world. What is that law we are talking of? And for a common man, it becomes difficult, hard to understand this. That you can never live without doing actions. Not possible. Even if you renounce home, all that you have, yet you have to do actions. You cannot live without doing actions. You are not like a dry leaf, being swayed by the storm, making certain figures in the space. You don't do like that. You are a human being. Before you do any action, there is a thought. Your thought is virtually action in a subtle world. Before tree comes, before the seed sprouts, it already germinates in the subtle world. So when you talk about your karma, you should know that your karma or your action is virtually a thought. Thought mingled with emotion, thought mingled with doubt, thought mingled with desire, want. See, I like to do something. There is no intensity in my liking. When I say I have to do it, you see, it means I have within myself decided to do something with all my might. So when you are doing actions, because you cannot live without doing actions, then comes another step. That another step is called duty. Who gives you this duty you are talking today? You waste and you utilize your whole day in the name of duty. Why are you going home? Take rest, relax. No, I have to go home, this is my duty. You always talk about your duty. Your life is duty-oriented. You see? Duty towards your people, but who created these duties for you? You assume these duties. By nature you assume the duties. This is my duty and this is not my duty. Then follow your actions. You act according to your assumption. You assume certain duties, you work hard to accomplish those duties, but those duties are assumed by you. And you cannot live without doing actions. You have to do some actions. Now, you will know something, that in this whole universe, why human beings should do a duty? Animal is not responsible for doing its duty. Why we human beings should take responsibility of doing our duties? Because in the cycle of the evolution, which is rotating without any problem, without any hindrance, a stage comes when you become human being, you know. You are responsible then to do your duties. We all function according to our duties. We do karmas. In other worlds, like animal world, animal is doing its duty, you know. But animal is being controlled by the nature, while human being is not controlled by the nature. He has his free will, he assumes his duties. Animal is not responsible for anything because animal is not free. Now, you have two things. You have to do your duty with full responsibility, meaning being conscious of the idea that you cannot live without doing your duty, first thing. Now, you have to do your duty the way you have assumed. Before you were born in a particular family, the family was there, the society was there, the country was there, the nation was there. What is your duty? Your duty is to see your people at home, for home is a nucleus, and society is its expansion. So that duty you perform towards the society, you have to do. Yes. The great scriptures like Bhagavad Gita says, you can renounce your personal duties. For the sake of serving your town. You can renounce the duties you perform towards your home if you have expanded yourself and assumed the duty that I have to serve my town. You can renounce your town for serving your nation. You can renounce your nation for serving the whole of humanity. You can renounce whole of humanity for the service of Lord only. This way, this is also personal evolution. But as a human being, we all human beings should know the law of karma first. If we are trying to understand Vaishvanara, the external world, the gross world, the world in front of us, the world which can be perceived with our senses, we should try to understand it. How to perform our duties towards the people around us, towards our nation. There should not be disagreement between your performance and aim of life. Don't forget this. The conflict comes when you are indulged too much in the world, forgetting the aim of life. Aim of life is not to see only one aspect of life. This is only one aspect of life. You see, external world. How to live in the external world? What is the art of living in the external world? If you are skilled, you can be successful, but you are not complete. You see. Now there comes problem. You see. You want to be successful in the external world. That success is not properly interpreted. Suppose you have $2 million and others do not have so much. If you have 5 houses and others do not have 5 houses, have only 1 house. Do you think it is a progress? For many of you, it is a progress. You are very successful. You see. But this success is not very healthy success for you, because it does not relate, your success is not related to your goal of life. What is your goal of life? Perhaps you are forgetting the goal of life. There is one intoxication which is really greater than any other intoxication. Liquor, nirvana, any drugs? No. Workaholism is another great intoxication, heavy intoxication. It's directly related to the ego, where you do not know them, you do not understand what you are doing. I have seen a father who had 4 children, and 3 children did not know him. By chance, one day when he was sleeping, one of the children got up, you see, and said, "Mama, who is this sleeping next to you?" Because he used to come home late, and early in the morning he used to leave his home. Work, work, work. When you enter into self-created competition, you may achieve something, a status in society, but that skill which you are using to attain that status, you are really wasting it. You are not taking care of the goal of your life. So any action that you perform, that action of yours should not oppose the main philosophy of your life. You see, it should be considered, because external world, functioning in the external world, living in the external world is only a small aspect of your life. Now, how to function? You will see when helplessness comes, one after another. You cannot live without doing action, and you have to perform the action, and when you perform the action, you are bound to reap the fruits of your action. If you do not reap the fruits of your actions, you cannot live, because actions are yours. Your dream is your dream, my dream is my dream. See? Now those fruits which you are reaping, which you reap every day, inspire you to do more actions. This way you are caught in the whirlpool. You cannot come out of it. You like to come out, you cannot. You have created a whirlpool around yourself. You are doing action, then reaping the fruits again inspire you to do more action. This goes on for whole life, till last breath of your life. Then you always think of only one thing, which is good action. Good means according to your convenience, for your benefit. You call it good. What is good for others, you forget. You forget that other human beings are like you completely ignore that part. So you isolate yourself from the whole and start building your ego, individuality. You can become a great egotistical and a great individual, but then you cannot be enlightened. What is the way? Helplessness is we cannot perform, we cannot live without performing our duties. Because we have to function. We are human beings. A human being is responsible for his own actions. It means he has power to do, to undo, to direct all his resources, energy towards his goal. Can action lead you to Brahman final goal? No, not possible. There is not a single action that can lead you attaining the highest. Then why are you doing action? Because we cannot live without functioning. And if we do not perform our duties, the call of duties will create barriers for us, and then we cannot go anywhere. We have to do our duties because we have to. Is there any way that we can do our duties, yet we remain free? We have to find out that way. Now, you all have heard the name of charity. Charity is considered to be the finest of all actions. You are doing charitable work. But if you are doing charitable work, by being egotistical, that others will adore me, revere me, call me a great man because I am doing something good, then that is not charitable work. Many people do charitable work to satisfy their egotistical whims, for name. Many people do charity because they have been told, if you do something here, in next life you will get something there. But if you, fortunate, do charity for right reason, well, I am holding so much money. Holding is not good. What right do I have to deprive others and hold? Let me renounce all this for the good of others. When this feeling comes, when this thought comes, when you understand this formula, then you start doing charity. Such a charity is definitely helpful in the path of unfoldment, in the path of enlightenment. Because then you understand that I cannot live without doing actions. It's a must. I have to reap the fruits of action. This is also true. But I have to offer those fruits of actions for the sake of others, because they create bondage for me. So what is law? Law is giving. Law of life is giving, not taking. And that's what you call it love. The moment you understand that the real key of action and duty is in love, then you are free. You do your duties with love and you are free. Then there will be no stress. Why world is going towards stress today? Because we all are functioning like robots, mechanical. All our research is materially oriented research. Finally, gives us discontent. We lose all that we have and acquire that something which we do not need. Stress. You see. We form the habits which are very injurious for us. And they are our own deeds. And you know how powerful the habits are? If you analyze, you'll come to know it's a habit. That creates something for you even after death. You don't go to hell and heaven, but you remain in your own habit patterns. Many of you aspire to go to hell and heaven. How? According to your actions, which create habit patterns. It means there is no hell, no heaven, but your own habit patterns. There is no such office which creates something for you, but your own habit patterns. You see. Any action performed without love is injurious for human growth. Now, what is that love? That step which leads you to the next step of life. Freedom from the bondage of karma first in the external world. You have to learn to be free because you are constantly creating a bondage for yourself. And you cannot help if you do not function, if you do not do your actions, if you do not do your duties. You have to do your duties and you have to reap the fruits of your duties. And those duties make you slave. You are slave of your duty. Accept it. How to be free? Unless you learn to do your duty effectively, skillfully, freely, lovingly, and happily, you cannot understand the mystery. And it can be understood in 1 second's time. Well, I cannot live without doing my duties. I have to, because I am a human being. Let me learn to offer the fruits of my actions for others. Others means whom? Not for the strangers. Nobody does that. For the people with whom you live, your family members. Suppose we are in a family, if we all learn and decide that we will work for each other, everyone will be free. I am working for you, I am not in the bondage. You are working for me, you are not in the bondage. There will be harmony. The home in which you live is a miniature universe, a training ground where you learn how to be free from the laws of the universe. You are only dealing with the gross aspect of life by swanara in the first mantra. You have not attained anything as yet. This makes you aware that learning to do your duty effectively, freely, happily, skillfully, and lovingly is the only way. And what is important in that? Important is renunciation. In your whole life, what is renunciation? You see, you will find renunciation is very important. If you do not renounce that you have in your breath, how can you receive the fresh air? You will have to learn the law of renunciation. Very important. Don't be afraid of this law. It's a great law that makes you cheerful, free and happy all the time. So if you do experiment, this is an experiment that we are having a family unit. This is experiment conducted by the great sages in the past, in all great traditions. Look at how all great traditions understand the life, the philosophy that we should have a family, a home, where wife learns to do actions for husband, or his husband learns to do action for wife, and they both do learn to do action for the children. This way, that unit is exemplary, and from where radiates love to other neighbors. This experiment has been very, very successful, because after completing this experiment, there is no other experiment. Human being could not think other way. You see, there was no other way that a human being could think, as far as the law of karma is concerned. If whole universe becomes a family, and then we start doing the same experiment, doing duties towards others, we all will be free human beings. We are not. Because this conclusion that family should be there and it should be experimental ground has not been successful practically. As a conclusion, it is successful because there is no other way. But practically, it's not successful. There is so much discontent, so much frustration, so much anger. You see, actually, it's a sadhana. As someone renounces his home, goes to a retreat, goes to the mountain, goes somewhere, this is a sadhana. You have to deal with your anger all the time. You have to deal with your wishes and desires all the time. You have to deal with your wants all the time. Therefore, every home is a temple, a synagogue, a church. You see. And every human being is a shrine. There should not be any frustration. It's a sadhana. We have to do this sadhana. There is no other way for us. You see. So when the ancients came to a conclusion that there should be a family life, there should be a home, and that all the members of that home should learn to work for each other without any reservation, without anything. And let this home expand itself to the universe, and let whole universe become homes. That was the cry of the Upanishadic seers. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Whole universe is the family, and we are the members of that family. Let us work for each other exactly the way a family member works for other members of the family. We have not yet completed the first step, first pada. We have to make family life so successful so that that idea, that ideal expands itself to the universe. Then we will be all Jivan Muktas. Every human being will be a Mukta, liberated being. We don't have to go for liberation to any mountain retreat, to any temple, to any Swami, to any yogi. We all will be Swamis, we all will be yogis. You see. But this experiment, being conducted for many years, is not fully successful because we all are still individuals. The country where there is a tradition of forming team like Japan, Japan is a small country. Why Japanese are successful? I lived in Japan for many years, and many of you know this. You talk to a Japanese for half an hour, and you will think that I have been explaining my ideas, and perhaps the gentleman is listening. Finally, you will know that he has not heard anything. Ha, 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 and finished. You see. Because they are taught to follow their leader. They can only work as a team. When I visited America, here there is nothing like team. Every individual wants to understand before he does something. That's a good thing. You see. But in the process of understanding, he doesn't form the team. You see. These are experiments being conducted in various parts of the world. The Upanishad says, first you will have to face the external world. You see. You will have to learn the technique of doing your duties, functioning in the external world. If you know how to live in the external world, perhaps the external world will not create any barriers on the path of unfoldment. Can external world help you in attaining the goal of life? Yes and no, both. If external world does not create problem for you, then it is help. If external world creates problem for you, it's impossible for you to do something. Suppose I am here. If you all decide that Swamiji should not meditate, I cannot. You'll kick me from this side. You'll give me blow from other side. You'll create hindrances for me. How can I meditate? So external world can create barriers for you. If the barriers are not created, that is a great help. When the great Alexander invaded India, so his teacher asked him to bring two things from India: the flute and Gita. So there, after conquering a part of India, he asked his Prime Minister, he said, I want to meet a Swami, because the flute and Gita will be of no use if there is no Swami. Somebody should be there, the wise man. She said, okay, sir. So he searched for a wise man, he asked the people, and someone said that such and such person sitting on the mountain is a wise man and he will help you, sir. So that man was sitting on the rock. Here comes Alexander. Alexander said, what can I do for you, sir? He smiled, did not look at him. So the Prime Minister said, well, he is Alexander the Great. Perhaps you do not know, he is such a great man in the world, very famous, great warrior, conquered the whole world. You wouldn't look at him. So third time he asked, what can I do for you, sir? He said, just remove yourself. Let the sunlight come to me. That's what you can do. What can you do for others? If you do not create any barrier, any hindrance, any problem for others, that is a great help. That's my point. When you go out to help somebody, perhaps your selfishness and ego is mingled, and it's not a help. Don't create barriers, hindrances, obstacles for others. Let them grow, let them unfold, let them tread the path of light. That is a great help you can do. It's called mind your own business. You see. See, in a family, when diversities, diverse thoughts, feelings are put together, then they know. You have seen the picture of diversity. You see. In India, there was a tradition of using symbols to interpret life on all levels. What should be the idealistic? A family, a good family. How if head of the family should live? During that time, most ancient time, some 10,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago, we did not have many printing presses, even any printing press. They wanted to leave some instructive and educational symbols for their next generation, for the rising generation to come. So they do many, many symbols. Many diverse things in one family. Have you seen Shiva? Have you heard Shiva's family? Shiva was never born. So he never had family. He never died because he was never born. When he was never born, he never had wife. Shiva here means the most ancient one who established the family system wants to give to his future generation how a family should live. Now, Shiva, this man, always had a cobra around his neck. Who's going to get married to such a man who has cobra? You see, nobody will go near him. No woman will go near him. Parvati is concerned, had, you see, next to her bull. Parvati had tiger with her all the time. Shiva had bull, and their son Ganesha had a small mice. And they lived very peacefully in the family. Tiger living with the bull, snake living with the mice, And there was never any disturbance, and that family was considered to be very ideal family. This is called unity in diversity. This is a symbol they left for their rising generation in future. Now, one by one, their son Ganesha is considered to be first one. If you want to do something, you will have to adore Ganesha first, because he was highly skilled. For being successful in the world, you will have to be like Ganesha. How Ganesha looks like? Elephant god, like a trunk of elephant. It's a symbol. There was no such human being ever born on the earth. But it's a symbol. They left it for the future generation. Why head of the elephant? Why not head of the tiger? You see, the elephant is vegetarian by nature. It's not violent. It only knows how to defend oneself. If you are trying to be rough with the elephant, no matter who you are, tiger or anything, elephant will throw you away. But unless you attack the elephant is very calm and quiet. So leader of your family should be so skilled, well balanced, so that he is calm and quiet and not at all violent. That symbol was there. Then there is a thread Ganesha used to wear. In all three states, waking, dreaming and sleeping, he was fully aware of his duty towards his family. Have you seen Chinese Buddha? Ganesha's tummy was bigger than that. Why? For head of the family, you have to have many suggestions come from day to day, from morning till evening. Wife says something, son says something, daughter says something, neighbor says something, relative says something different. He should be able to digest all the suggestions. Now you like to have a bike, motorbike, car, you see, a small plane for your use. He also needed, but he selected mice. What mice would do? Whenever by chance head of the family get entangled in the network of that family life, Ganesha would cut, that mice will cut the threads and make him free. This is called symbolic. If properly these symbols are interpreted, which they should be, then you will know how our ancients lived. From the very beginning, the ancients knew that future generation, the rising generation, our children in future, human beings, will have to face this problem of diversity in life. The father is having, you see, cobra, the son is having mice, father is having a bull, wife is having, mother is having tiger, yet they live in the same family with all great harmony. This predicts human beings' life also. You are torn because of your thinking, because of your emotions, because of your desires. You have to work hard to establish a harmony all the time and then move. And if you do not do that, then you suffer. Have you seen? Someone is building only muscles, but he is covered from within. Somebody is very strong from within, but physically very weak. Somebody is very strong from within and physically strong, yet he has no love for others. We have to learn to develop ourselves, you see, from all sides, harmoniously. So let us find out a formula, how can we function in the world? And let us start making experiments. Do it once, twice, and thrice. And once you have done experiments successfully, apply it. You will always find yourself successful and very happy. So far you find delight in taking. If somebody gives you something, you smile and say, thank you. While Yoga Sutra says, no gifts. You see. It means you are a yogi, not yogi. If somebody gives something, you definitely say, thank you very much. I like this gift. And yet yoga says, yoga science says, no gifts. Don't take any gift from anybody. So far you have learnt only one thing. Give me something, wanting to have something, and other give something, and you feel delight. Why do you not make experiment in your life and at home, not with outsiders? It's not possible. Because you will not identify yourself with the outsider. At home, learn to give. Do it 2, 3, 4 times experiment. Do something for your wife without her asking. Do something for children. You see. This way you will be expanding your consciousness. They have not to ask you. You better find out what they need and just do it. Learn this habit. What will happen? Instead of becoming beggar, that I need something, somebody gives me something and I feel delight, you improve and you learn to give, and that makes you generous. That gives you freedom from the bondage you have been constantly creating, consciously and unconsciously, and that is the only one way of dealing with the law of karma. There is no other way. The ancients said, no, there is no other way. As there is only one way, that, oh human being, you cannot live without doing actions, there is only one way to be free from the bondage of karma. And that freedom will come when you learn to give. Give to your people whom you consider they are yours, towards whom you have assumed duties. Anyone. Learn to do it from your family, with all the members of your family. When you are selfless, then what happens to you? You don't expect from others. You just watch your actions. You see that you are being selfless. That will give you personal freedom. That will purify the way of soul. That will help you in unfolding the way of life. There is no other way for having freedom from the bondage of karma. O man, do your duties selflessly, lovingly, skillfully, effectively, freely and happily, and give all the fruits that you can to the members of your family towards whom you have to give, and find delight. If you are a great president of a country, what will happen? Go to see him, you will find he is inside a jail. I have seen it in my country. I said, this is not a good sign. I went to see a minister, like a secretary in your country. His whole house was surrounded by the gunmen. I said, I pity this man. He was very close to me. So when I went to see him, there was no guard and nothing else. I used to drive my car straight away to his front door. Policeman stopped. Who are you? I said, I am such and such. Do you have any appointment? I said, I don't need appointment. He is my great friend. No, you have to have appointment. I said, go and talk to him. He said, no. He didn't allow me to meet him. I telephoned him. It took him 7 days to fix up the appointment because that order that allowed his friend of mine to come and see me, it took 7 days from the main minister to come out to the guard. By that time I left for Rishikesh. What a miserable situation we create for ourselves. You see. We are not living in a nice world, I'm telling you. I thought the world is free from wars after Second War, because I remember what happened in Second War. But I think now there is war in every home. Homes were peaceful before, 50 years before. There is turmoil in every home, there is divorce in every home, there is misunderstanding in every home, everybody is irresponsible. So the day we understand the law of karma and know that nothing is possible without doing our duties, then we also learn the law of giving. Then we learn that after giving comes freedom. Let you do your duties, but let you learn to give the fruits of your actions, because those fruits will inspire you to do more duties, and there is no end, and you can never come out of that. This is only about the Vaiswanara, which is only one pada. Pada means foot, but it's not like 4 feet of a car, quarter of a dollar. All 4 feet are different padas. But when I say quarter of a dollar, that quarter is not different from the dollar. It's one part of life. External world, to live in the external world is very important. We cannot escape, and we have to find out the way of living happily. And that's only one way, and this is a sort of prayer. Tell me, when you are praying, you go to the temple and pray. You pray according to your custom. Why do you want to pray again? Because you are sure that your prayer was not valid, it was not heard. Thus you are doing it again and again. You see. Giving is a right prayer here. Let you learn to understand that giving is a great prayer that gives you freedom immediately, that gives you delight, that makes others happy. You are not giving to the human being, you are giving to the Lord who is in every human being. That's called prayer through action, prayer through karma. So your karma will never create bondage if it becomes a prayer. That's my point. Because prayer will never create bondage. Let you learn to do something like that at home. Home is a great temple where there lives all the gods, learning to help each other, learning to love each other, learning to be free. When head of the family becomes an example, having all the diversities, maintaining that unity beneath, that family is adorable. You know, when you will, this Upanishad will lead you from the external world to the internal world. You are not satisfied with the idea that God is everywhere, you know it. Your Bible says. Which is that Bible which does not say this? Why are you running around in the world, going to this temple, going to this synagogue, going to this church? Why? Because you have not been trained to understand that Lord is within you. You think you are very small, so you think God is also small. How such a big God, great God can live in such a small man? You always think. The day you come to know that you are a living temple, a living shrine, you will know the wonder of life. There are not only 7 wonders or 8 wonders in the world. The greatest of all wonders, wonder of wonders, is one wonder. That wonder is this finite human being, vessel, has got infinity within, and he moves everywhere, and infinity moves with him. What a great thing. That's why human being is considered to be great. According to Quran, he is called Ashraful Makhlukat, highest of all creatures. For him there is joy in abundance. In the Bible he is called. He has been created. You see, exactly the way God created himself. You see. The day we come to know that we are shrine, there will be joy. God is in me. This Upanishad is leading you from the external world to the internal world, from gross to subtle. When we will understand and compare this gross world, the waking state, with Tejasa, Vaishwanara with Tejasa, it will be more interesting to understand. Do you think that dreams are not true? You see. Then what is true? This waking state is also not true. Because 8 hours, you work hard, then you go to dreaming state, and then you go to sleeping state. In 24 hours time, you sleep and you dream. Why do you ignore that reality? Why dream is not true, and why sleeping is not true? Why this waking state alone is true? When you try to compare dreaming reality with so-called reality of waking state, then you will come to know this is also a dream. A dream that lasts for a little bit longer time than the actual dream we experience. So today you have known how to deal and cope with the human helplessness that is called action. Without which there is no progress. There will be barrier, there will be bondage, and without freedom you cannot attain the next step. Then we will find out what dream means to us. Why do we dream? Is it necessary for us to dream? I think for knowing reality, we should dream. So that we understand this waking state, a bigger dream, how it is compared with the dream, what is the reason of this dream, why do we dream, how dream comforts, can dream be therapeutic? How dream express ourselves, give us account every day when we dream. What is that which is called sleep, deep sleep? Very interesting subject. It is not leading you to the external world, it is leading you to the internal world. There are definitely two philosophies. A philosophy that goes from gross to grosser and then to grossest. philosophy that leads you from gross to subtler, that's the subtle exercise. Mandukya Upanishad doesn't talk much about God. It's a very practical Upanishad. It directly leads you to your innermost center of consciousness, from where consciousness flows eternally, and gives you freedom. You see, I leave you here. Hope you study first or second mantras so that I can talk to you, then you understand. Sometimes I feel perhaps you are not understanding, you see. But I want you to understand. It's a very interesting, healthy and helpful subject. And then we'll be talking about the meditation. What is meditation today, you learned? Today's meditation teaches you meditation in action. The word meditation comes from its root medical, to attend. As a doctor, a good doctor attends seriously, lovingly his patient. So is the word meditation. A meditator attends his meditation regularly, effectively, so that he removes all the barriers and goes ahead and attains the final liberation. Meditation in action. Meditating for 5 minutes or 10 minutes in a quiet corner of your house is very good. But that meditation should be brought into action. That is called meditation in action. Your meditation in action means here, you should learn to do your action with full attention. You see, for lack of attention, you stumble in your house where you have lived for 50 years. Suddenly you stumble because for lack of attention. How attention is very important. Important part of meditation. If you want to attain meditation, you have to pay attention towards your deeds. Why are you doing this particular work? Why are you doing this action? Do it attentively and you will reap the fruits of your actions the way you want. You are discontent because you expected too much and you did little. And you did not get according to your estimation. Either you have learned to imagine, you see, baselessly, or you have not performed your action accurately. When you attend the entire process of action, then you will not be disappointed, frustration. See. I always say, do not be satisfied, but remain content. If you become satisfied, if you are satisfied, that is, there is no motivation. You will be not motivated to do something. But satisfaction, dissatisfaction comes when you start doing something. Contentment comes when you have already done something. Most of us aspire to do something, expect to do something, and do not do it with our full attention, and do not reap the fruits of actions according to our desire. What we get? We get frustrated, discontent. Well, action has been performed, you cannot do anything. Why are you discontent? It's my habit, people say. To remain discontent, frustrated, will create many, many diseases, will make you sick, will rob your cheerfulness and will rob your peace. Therefore, learn to be content and pay attention when you perform your action again, that you will do it with full attention. You will find you have improved in all fields. If you are a doctor, if you are a scientist, if you are an accountant, if you are a yogi, whatever you do it with full attention. And this is first step in the path of meditation in action. I have to explain to you another 6 methods of meditation. So, God bless you. Where you don't understand, you should tell me. The words, certain words which are used, which were used in ancient times, I am trying to explain to you in your own language so that you understand. Today, we talked about waking state. Now, still I have to speak to you. With that diagram we'll make, what is waking state, what is dreaming state, what is sleeping state. Then you will enjoy the subject and know about your individual soul well, and how individual soul is related to the cosmic soul. And what is that liberation, moksha? What is it called? Is it possible for us to be liberated? I say yes, right now. So, God bless you. Peace.